Howdy folks, Craig and Ray here on the third floor. It's time to talk about the 10 Thunders. Quick disclaimer. Malifaux 3rd Edition was still in open beta when we filmed this, so some of the details may have changed, but overall the theme should remain about the same. We are producing new content about Malifaux on a weekly basis. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and we can't thank everybody enough who's been leaving comments both on our channel and our Facebook page. Enjoy the video. Alright, let's talk about Youko. What am I looking at if I'm going up against you and you've declared her as your master?
Not to have a lot of cards in your hand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So right off the bat, she has a leader ability that says you play with only 5 cards instead of 6. Just by declaring her as the leader, okay. that's what happens. Like,
so my control hand is 5.
Your control hand is 5. So congratulations, wow. I've taken away whatever percentage of your hand that
and that's the limit for the whole game, or
that's for
she's just game. Alive, or
I would imagine it's for when she's just alive,
but still, wow.
But still, yeah, like it's There's a couple of abilities that are kind of board-wide abilities in M3E, and she's one of those. And I think they go away when the master dies.
Gotcha.
I hope it goes away when the master dies, because otherwise that's like bad news for you.
All right, so I've got a smaller control hand. What else should I expect?
Actually, honestly, that's a large part of what she's going to be doing is really working your control hand. So she's kind of slow. She's a little bit defensive, but her whole big defense is about getting like a singular model in, and then using it kind of as a patsy to purge your hand. Okay. So she does that through 2 methods. She has backroom dealings and blackmail. And what these 2 abilities allow you to do is one of them lets you look at your opponent's hand. And then you can either try to deal damage by guessing a card beforehand.
Okay.
And then for each suit that matches that, or you choose a suit, and then for each suit that matches that, that model takes damage. Or if you have stones, or the suit in your hand, what you can do is you can have them discard a card at random for each unrevealed scheme they have. Then the other one she has gives you pass tokens, but again, your opponent can discard cards to prevent those pass tokens from being allocated.
Got it.
However, she has a trigger on that one that if you don't discard 2 cards, then you get to obey the model you targeted.
So I need to be ready for having little or no hand cards.
You just got to be prepared for it. And now it may not end up being that. You may end up playing with 2 or 3.
Sure.
But she's on like stats 6 and 7 for all of her things against willpower. She has the ability to draw a card just as a 1 AP action. She has the ability to look at the top of your deck when you activate near her. If you discard cards near her, I draw cards.
Wow.
So the key is really to take away from her is that you're not going to have a control hand. I'm going to have a control hand. And then to top it off, her defensive capability is that she passes out distracted like candy. So that's what you're going to have to work around somehow.
So how resilient is she as a master?
With distracted, she can be fairly resilient because she also has serene countenance. But if you have ways of purging conditions, focus stuff takes her out. So you got to be careful. She's not a frontline fighter at all.
Gotcha.
She's a mid-range control piece that you're trying to isolate a target that you can lock down for the game and use it to fuel her abilities while pinpointing targets that you're trying to neutralize with her distract.
So it's safe to say that she's also not dishing out a bunch of damage either, right?
No, she's got a melee attack. It's like it's a 2-3-4. It does what it needs to do when it needs to do. It gives her a disengage. But you're honestly probably never going to use that attack. I've played her maybe 10 times now, and I've never used it once.
Gotcha. Okay, that's Youko. So with her, I'm looking at the keyword Qi and Gong.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that keyword tell me?
So first thing it tells you is pass tokens.
Okay.
So leverage is their signature ability. And what leverage is if you have a revealed scheme, then every model I control that has leverage generates a pass token at the start of each turn.
Okay.
So if my crew is 8 models and you've revealed a scheme, I get 8 pass tokens. And that's in addition to any others I might get from normal
the natural way.
Right. So the other thing it does is that you can spend pass tokens to get a positive to your accuracy duel. So you don't get the positive damage,
right?
But you get the positive to the attack or defense duel.
And that's kept in the context of you probably don't have a control hand or much of a control hand. And wow, okay, wow.
So again, it's all about leveraging
Yep.
the board and the control hand of your opponent and your personal control hand. You should be trying to win duels fairly often with her crew because you should be in a better position than them, and it should come down. They should be relying on the heart of the cards,
Sure.
in order to get through stuff, and you should be going, this isn't going to go through because I have the ability to deny it, basically.
How about offensive threats?
So her crew has a strangely large amount of offensive capability to them. It starts with Hinamatsu, who is the one Qi and Gong that is in Neverborn. And she's an armor 2, flurried, extended reach, wicked, positives to her swords, armor piercing, machine of destruction.
Wow.
So with Yoku's ability to hand out distracted and neuter your opponent's control hand, that equates to a very hard to shift model.
Sure.
Bill Algren, her other henchman, which is her 10 Thunders henchman, is a hard hitting, tanky model that when you reveal schemes, he gains fast and heals. He can also challenge other models in heroic intervention. He passes out focus and healing. You've got a lot of going on just even between those two. And then you get to the Kabuki Warrior, which I mentioned just a minute ago, which is wielding a great sword. And for those who aren't familiar with great swords in M3E, it's a standard weapon that's given out to several models. And the damage track is 345. And it's got a special ability that says, if you have not charged, then attacks with that weapon get an automatic positive to damage. So you put that on a model that's in a crew where I'm stripping your control hand, and chances are I'm doing a lot of damage with them.
Wow.
The trade-off, though, is that they're kind of glass other than Hinamatsu. Hinamatsu is the tough one to take out. Everyone else is, if you get in, you probably can take them out.
Now, how about her totem?
Her totem is a very interesting piece. It's a solo annoyance piece.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be near her at all, and he generates 2 pass tokens if he's on the opponent's side of the table. So you kind of want to deploy him on a wing, and he's significant, which is significant.
He's dropping
scheme markers. And he's got sharp wits, so he can slow things. He's got a couple of other hand affecting abilities. I believe he's manipulative and stealth as well, so getting to him, you've got to go after him.
Yep.
But he's just really kind of an annoyance piece. You want to run him up into your opponent's zone somewhere hidden and just reap some pass tokens and drop some markers for your schemes.
Any other Qi and Gong models that we need to talk about that are important?
The Kunoichi absolutely are super important, and I will admit to downplaying these models a bit, but they have an ability called Tools of the Trade, which is when they activate, you pick up the top card of your discard pile, and then discard a card from your hand. With all the hand control mechanics you have, you should be able to engineer good trades for this. And what makes them devastating is they have a trigger on their melee and their ranged attack on a ram that says they do additional damage for each point distracted. Your opponent has up to 2. So it's kind of like a critical strike with an extra modifier to it. But if you pitch a low ram from your hand, they have that trigger built in, and suddenly they're a min 4 model against anyone with distracted 2, which Yoku passes out very easily.
Very nice. How about any versatile models that we should think about?
Yeah, the Geisha, all of their models are actually really versatile. The Kabuki Warriors have a lore.
Okay.
Because why not? And they have a bonus action that allows them to reposition scheme markers. And it's not a short range either. It's 6 inches reposition.
Okay.
So there's that. The Geisha are luring models that also have an aura that puts you on negative willpowers, which just Yoku loves because all of her stuff's willpower based. Yep. The Bunraku are armor 1 scheme runners.
Okay.
So it's the crew's just got a lot of versatility to it. The key to it is that it doesn't like shooting because it doesn't have a lot of innate tankiness to it. There's smatterings of abilities here and there, but your tankiness of your crew is Yoku controlling your opponent's hand.
Got it. That's what's keeping everybody alive, is the fact that I'm neutering the amount of control that my opponent's getting from the
Absolutely.
Deck. Okay, good. So what kind of player would enjoy playing this crew?
If you like playing control, but you don't like the concept of playing a complete crew of control, this is a really good crew for you, because really the control aspect of this crew is the master.
Okay.
So you get 1 model or 2 models near the master. You're locking those 2 models down. You're using them to trigger all your abilities and control your opponent's hand, which allows you to control the game. But you don't have to necessarily play this big control the board style. You can actually focus a little bit more on either scheming or killing as you desire and let Yoku do that job for you.
Got it. Steep learning curve or relatively easy to learn?
I would say she has actually a fairly steep learning
Okay.
curve because she is easy to take out if you're not careful. And models that can remove conditions easily, like the crew's main defense is passing out distracted and controlling the opponent's hands. So if they have ways of mitigating either of those abilities,
You could be in trouble.
you could be in trouble. So again, midfield kind of master, don't overextend, and you'll get some mileage.
All right, that's Youko and the Qi and Gong.